But first tonight, Malia Dell is not a scientist, not a chef, not a nutritionist, but she is keenly interested in getting people to eat better meals that they've made themselves.
Dell, who lives in Rockland, is a wellness consultant and the author of Food That Works, Real Meals to Survive the 9 to 5. The book is a practical guide to shopping and then preparing food that will provide you with healthful meals and leftovers throughout the week. It is not really a cookbook.
It's partially a cookbook. It's a guide for the week to help you successfully shop and prep and use up your groceries.
You came up with the idea in part because you've worked in restaurants, and you say that it's a good idea for people to run their own kitchen to some extent along the lines of a restaurant kitchen, right?
I think we can learn a lot from restaurants. They work efficiently, they don't have any time to waste, and neither do we. We're busy. So this book gets you in and out of the store, and it teaches you how to prep those ingredients for yourself so they're quick to grab during the week.
And it's all about planning. If you plan ahead, then you're going to simply eat better. You're going to eat healthier, right?
Yes.
Why is it that if we don't plan ahead, we get into trouble? Is that when we just go to the store and we buy quick stuff, we buy easy stuff that you just nuke in the microwave? Is that where you head?
Well, I think we can be pretty ambitious when we're at the grocery store and we buy that head of cauliflower and those Brussels sprouts and we think, yeah, I should cook this and I should eat this. And then you get home, you shove it in the fridge, the week happens, and then it kind of rots back there and you don't get to it. So I think prepping those whole foods is essential to eating healthfully on the fly, and that's what this book helps people to learn how to do for themselves.
And you're passionate about people making their own food, preparing their own food out of real ingredients, right? Why do you think that's so important?
Because these restrictive diets and all these cleanses and detox, that's not sustainable behavioral changes. That's not going to get us to the goals that we have. And lots of times it sets us up and then we feel like failures if we don't reach it. And so this is just committing to yourself to grocery shopping more and using up those groceries and cooking homemade meals that are portable that you can bring to work so you're not eating out so much.
You just mentioned, you know, we set ourselves up sometimes for failure and then we feel guilty about it. You actually were not a shining success when it came to cooking and eating until about your early 20s, right?
Yeah. So if I can do it, anyone can do it, Rob.
How did you feed yourself before that?
Oh, do I have to say that?
Yeah.
No. I ate a lot of processed foods, Hot Pockets. That was like my thing. And now I'm realizing, hey, if I have a pizza craving, I can make pizza for myself, and I can make it 100 times better than anything I can get out of a box or a package or even out at a restaurant. And so I want people to realize that homemade food is really delicious because you get to make it the way that you like it, and you get to make it the most nutrient dense that it can be. So you're really getting more bang for your buck, and you're saving tons of money as well.
This book, Food That Works, was a real labor of love for you. You didn't have a big publishing house behind you. You did it yourself.
Yeah.
Came out almost a year ago, right?
Yeah.
What kind of questions and comments have you gotten from people when you're doing public events?
It's been doing great. People have really learned a lot from it. If you go on Amazon, you can see all these reviews. I think I have over 70 reviews. And people just say, it's so basic, I can't believe I didn't think of doing this before. Just hard boiling a dozen eggs and putting away in the fridge. I'm more likely to grab that as a snack when I'm hungry instead of grabbing, a brownie or a cookie when I'm out. Or just having these whole foods prepped. Maybe they don't do it every single week, but there's little things that they take away from Food That Works that they incorporate and they find, wow, I should have been doing this a long time ago.
Do they kind of say, it's so simple, it's so obvious, why hasn't this come to me before?
Yeah, and even friends who work in the restaurant world, they've been like, wow, why don't I prep my mise en place myself each week? Why don't I do this at home? And it's just getting yourself into that habit of realizing how simple it is, bang it out, then you don't have to get the cutting board out during the week and make a mess and dishes, and no one has time for that during the week.
Part of the reason you did this is you wanted to make a difference. You want to lead people down a path toward better health. Do you think that you've been able to do that, at least nudge some people in that direction?
Absolutely, absolutely. I've sold over 2,000 copies, and that shows me that people are really into this concept and that it's helping them.
The thing about the way we eat is that we get started with something, we stick with it for 6 months, and then we fall off the wagon. Why is this a plan that will work for good?
Yes, because this is not, like I said, restricting yourself. This is just eating the foods that you love. So what's your favorite meal, Rob?
Fish.
Fish, okay. But so saying, I love fish, I typically order this out all the time. How can I make it for myself? How can I make these meals quick at home and sometimes in advance so that tomorrow when I have to show up for work, I just grab it?
If you can get me to cook, you are going to be the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize.
My next goal.
It's the beginning of a new year. This is the time of the year where people make resolutions. They say, oh, I'm going to do this, 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 and better. Have you made any resolutions with regard to your own cooking, eating, so forth?
Absolutely. My resolution to myself is always the same. It's to continue cooking most of my meals from home. 75% of my meals I make myself. So that leaves a good percentage, 25% of the time, I get called by a friend, hey, let's meet up tonight and have dinner, or you get invited over to someone's house, and you should be able to enjoy those experiences. You know, that's what life is about, and that's how we enjoy ourselves, and that's very important. So I want people to continue doing that, but just trying to cook the other 75% of yourself from your home, and having them ready in your fridge so that they're portable and quick. And that's the most realistic resolution that you could possibly make for yourself this year.
Not that complicated. Get good ingredients, find good recipes, make your own food.
That's it. Eat the food you love every day.
She wants to cook at home at least 75% of the food that she eats. What would you guess is your percentage that you actually do?
Well, me? My husband does all the cooking in my house, so I'm at like maybe 10%.
Yes.
But he goes to the grocery store every week, every Sunday. What are we gonna have? What are we gonna have? And we go through it, we talk it all out. He is the most organized man in the world. He goes to the grocery store, he gets the meals, and he makes them.
So
he's awesome.
He's on the system
He
before
is
he
on
even
the
knew
wagon.
about the system.
Exactly. So I'm a lucky woman. You? What are you at?
Dreadful. Just dreadful. I'm not even going to give you a number. It would be so appalling.
I was gonna say, if you say you never cook, you're really in trouble.
You know, the thing, though, that I love about what she talks about, and it appeals, I think, or applies to anyone, no matter what kind of food you like, no matter what your schedule is, she says this system will reduce waste. And I think if there's anything that drives everybody crazy, it's food that gets tossed out.
Absolutely. And that's, I think, having those things sort of assigned to certain things. You're like, oh, I will grab this Monday, I will grab this Tuesday is a good plan.
That's the way to go.